Okay, in the last video when we messed with the standard Kart M, I actually had the settings incorrect. It's supposed to be 150 hard, all CPUs. I'm actually going to set the courses to random. Items are supposed to be balanced, and it's supposed to be 5 races, not 4. Inside of Rebalance, I'm really pushing for having 5 races, or an odd number of races, rather than 4, because if you have races of 4, or really any even number, you tend to get a lot of ties, which is, you know, not very fun. Alright, so for the next vehicle, let's tackle a different vehicle archetype. So the standard Kart M was pretty much a standard kart. It was a normal kart from Mario Kart Wii. So let's change gears and let's play a bike. Let's play a... What bike should we play? I'm going to be playing Rosalina because why not? Let's play the Shooting Star. The Shooting Star is probably one of the more interesting vehicles that a lot of people don't or can't wrap their head around. It's basically a speed-based inside drifting bike like the Flame Runner, but its speed primarily comes from the mini turbo stat, not the normal top speed stat. So what that means is, sure, you'll be on a mini turbo for longer, and in this case, way longer. However, the top speed is reduced. So as you can see here, I'm only going 99, which is the top speed of the Flame Runner as it normally would be. However, I'm pretty much in it for the entire duration. So you end up kind of gaining speed incrementally, like all over the place, but you don't have any large speed bumps. And then, of course, if you want to actually go faster than a Flame Runner, you have to be wheeling. But when you're wheeling, you cannot charge the mini turbo loops. And also, once you get hit, it's really detrimental. So balancing this vehicle archetype was most definitely one of the hardest parts about balancing Rebalanced. Because when you begin adding other vehicle archetypes, you end up with weird... inside of competitive gaming, it's called shadow buffing. When you change one characteristic about a certain vehicle, you can inadvertently affect the way that the game is played at a higher level. Also, these CPUs are going to be a little bit more difficult because I forgot to change the setting to hard. So I'm actually going to be struggling a bit. Don't think I'm going to be able to get that perfect 60. We'll try. See how it goes. I also think the lines are a little bit different with this thing compared to like the Flame Runner. Because you want to like kind of balance being in a mini turbo, but at the same time you also want to balance making sure that you're wheeling so that way you actually gain some speed. Oop, I really locked. Really locking is still a thing, unfortunately, because it's a bike. Also, one more thing that changed a lot. So we balanced and changed a lot of the character stats as well. Oops, hello. A lot of the character stats have been changed. Rosalina is pretty much the same. I think she's one of the few characters that didn't really get altered or changed that much. But another character that got really changed, in my opinion, was King Boo. It's my mod, what do you expect? King Boo got a really big buff, and I think, as of right now, he's probably the best, or one of the best. I'd go out of my way and say that he's currently the best online, like, heavyweight character. So whenever we do clan wars, or like vehicle wars where you have to use different characters, that's one more rule type we added. So that way you don't see a bunch of Funky Kongs running all over the place. You will always see a King Boo somewhere in the lane, which I think is cool. I'm not really talking much about the vehicle because you could kind of see what it's doing. It's a really difficult balance, so the lines are very different because it's kind of like the opposite of the spear. What do I mean by that? With the spear in vanilla Mario Kart Wii, you prioritize making sure that you try to go as straight as possible and only drift and turn when you absolutely have to. So in some cases where the Flame Runner would get a drift, the spear, it makes more sense to just quickly realign and keep wheeling because it has really good like top speed acceleration. This is kind of the opposite, and it's almost like you're hunting for an excuse to use or to snake or to take a different line. So the lines it's weird. It's very weird. Now this vehicle is inside of a class of itself. It is called the mini turbo based vehicles. There's a few of them. The Day Tripper being, I think, the best one. The J Tripper, there's a lightweight variant, I forget what it is. Oh yeah, you gotta be careful here, make sure, because you can't, unlike normal speed vehicles, you can't cancel when you have a mini turbo. When you have a mini turbo, there's no way to stop or slow down. You gotta make sure that you don't accidentally get another mini turbo there. Ooh, that's a red shell. I'm gonna be able to crack this on the other side, I think. Still could abuse that. Red shells, as much as we buffed them to take, faster, more acceptable online lines, they still have the generic issue where you could like outline them or crack them, and especially with the addition of so many carts being viable, you could actually just drive them up against the wall. Because the red shell is... This is gonna sound super weird, so bear with me. With a cart, the red shell is attracted to the back of the vehicle. It magnetizes to like right behind the vehicle. So if you tilt the vehicle by drifting against the wall, you could actually crack it on a straightaway. So that's a little bit more advanced tech. That's something a bike cannot do. So if you're on a straightaway and a red shell's coming at you and you're on an inside drifting bike, not much you can do about that. Oh, let me see here. I'm pretty sure. Okay, CPUs are super interesting in this mode or in this game. In this mod, I don't know the right term. They really struggle with stereotypically difficult tracks. But the simpler the track is, the easier that they get. So DK Summit is actually DK Mountain is a really difficult track for the CPUs to get a grip on. Which is why, once I kind of broke away, they no longer get that speed buff I was talking about in the last episode. Where, like, if you're in second place, and the CPU is in front of you, the third place gets, like, a ridiculous speed boost. The reason it didn't show much last video was because I was playing on easy, which was a mistake of mine. I think the difference is, like, easy gets, like, a 5% speed boost, hard gets, like, a 10, and I think this gets a 15% speed boost, so they're going 15% faster than they're supposed to. We used to have custom tracks. There was a time when we actually had I want to say 5 or 6 custom tracks added to the pack, which replaced some of the stock Nintendo tracks. We eventually decided against it because of the policy we were trying to go for. I'm getting ready to actually retire from Mario Kart Wii, like permanently, at least until further notice. And in doing so, that means I have to wrap up a lot of my projects. So I'm not gonna continue working on Riibalanced. So I just wanted to kind of wrap stuff up and let myself finish up the mod. And in doing so, we decided to make. Oops, that was rough. We decided to turn the Riibalanced mod pack into kind of like a service pack, so people could use the mod, all the playtesting, all the data that we've gathered, the years and years of development, and implement it into their own mods. So before that, version 4.0, the policy or the idea that we were going for was, we're gonna keep developing this mod to be the best mod that it absolutely can possibly be. And then version 5.0, that idea kind of changed into being, well, we want to make the best mod that doesn't disrupt what the game already has. Like everything here, we're not adding anything to it, except maybe like the UI HUD, Everything, technically Nintendo could have done themselves. Like all the coding, all the modding, all the stats adjustments, all the track manipulations and whatnot. We're not adding anything. We're just modifying what's already there. And that was kind of the policy, like the ideology. Yeah, I can't talk. That was the direction that we're going. So we're turning Riibalanced more into a service pack that other people could add to their mods. And the idea is eventually there's going to be a distribution where, people are going to add custom tracks to it. There was actually, there was something else coming out with Mario Kart Wii, which basically allowed you to add, like, a bunch of stuff to the mod, or a bunch of stuff to the game. Like, extra courses, extra characters. A lot of new stuff, a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. What is it called? I think it's called the Mario Kart Wii Service Pack, SP. I might have to double check on that, I'm not sure. Anyway. Also, we changed up the point distribution, so it actually gets to 60 after 5 races, not 4. And I think that it's just a lot more fair, personally. I always thought that, like a small lobby, first place getting 15 points was just busted. Like, actually busted. So now we change it, so first place just gets an extra point, which, still incentivizes you to get first. That was the issue before, when we had them at 11 points. No one, getting first didn't mean much. It made more sense to, beat someone or, troll, which was not good. We didn't want to encourage that. Alright. But one more thing that you gotta keep in mind with Shooting Star is, after you go over, a trick ramp or a boost, you don't get your mini turbo, because the trick ramp or the trick boost or the booster ramp or whatever they are, they take priority over the mini turbo because it's a higher class of it's a mini turbo, right? A turbo. So what that means is sometimes it actually makes sense to take lines. Oh yeah, mushrooms as well. Mushrooms take priority. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. This vehicle is really bad in every situation except normal driving. And also this track is, it used to be... Oh man, I'm struggling talking here. I'm sorry, I didn't eat much today. Didn't sleep well, didn't eat much. So, let me see if I can get my head wrapped around this to explain it. Speed, there's 2 kinds of off-road inside this game. There is off-road, what we call off-road type 1. That bill line is amazing. There's off-road type 1. And then, I messed up the timing, but there's off-road type 1 and there's off-road type 2. Off-road type 1 just makes the road slippery. Off-road type 2 makes it so it's slippery and it also reduces your speed. So a good example of type 1 would be Dry Ruins, where it just is slippery. And an example of slippery road type 2 is Sherbert Land, where it actually slows you down as well, which is why the Magic Cruiser is, such a good pick on that track. In this mod, both Slippery Road Type 1 and Type 2 both slow you down. There are slight differences. Oh, he actually might beat me here. I don't have acceleration. Yep, rip. Rip the 60. We tried. Oh, another blue back-to-back. Yep. So this road has Slippery Road Type 2, so normally it doesn't slow you down. However, we can modify both off-road characteristics separately. So even though they both slow you down now, Slippery Road Type 2 slows you down more than Slippery Road Type 1. But they both they at least slow you down this time. So it incentivizes, or it kind of fills a meta where you can play an off-road based vehicle, which does not get affected by things like that. Alright, let me think. Koopa Cave. This is track 4, I think? I'm at 45 points. No, this is last track. Okay, this is race 5. Alright. Like for instance there, a good shooting star player might not actually go take the ramp, because the ramp might be slower. You never know. And I think that's probably the strat I'm gonna do. Love the way it works. Like, it's really underrated just like how different Rebalanced is from Mario Kart Wii when it comes to strats. Because some strats that are really hard and really technical on normal Mario Kart Wii, they become quite a bit easier to do. Simply because you're moving, a little bit faster. Things just become a little bit more consistent, which, some people might see that as a bad thing. It lowers the skill ceiling. But on the other hand, it also makes it so a lot more vehicles are viable for that case. I have said this many times before, but in efforts to make one of the most competitive... That went right through him. In efforts to make one of the most competitive mods, which was what Rebalance was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a competitive mod, where people play, like, against each other, it kind of turned into one of the most casual, like, one of the best casual mods that ever was... I don't want to say ever created, because that makes it sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but it really is. It really is one of the best casual experiences. It's almost like Mario Kart 8, but with all the Mario Kart Wii, shenanigans, and all the Mario Kart Wii fun. I need to get to it a little bit higher. Because the speed is lower, the point of when you could start drifting... Okay, so the way that drifting works is you need to be half your speed, or whatever the component is, I think it's half your speed, to actually start or initiate the drift. So let's say that my top speed is 80. That means I have to be at least 40 km/h in order to, drift. Or else I'm just going to hop around and won't let me drift. Now because this vehicle is slower than normal, the point of when I have to start drifting, or when I get to start drifting, is lower as well. So this vehicle, I think its top speed is like 80. So I only need to start... I could start drifting when it's like around 45, 40, something like that. Whereas like the Flame Runner, which has a top speed of 90 or whatever, it has to get to like almost 50 plus. So that's, it has minor differences like that. Little game mechanical things, I'm not sure what to call it. In this game, knowledge is power, so it's always good to keep in mind. There's a speed at when you could start a drift, and there's also speeds when you can't. Knowing what that is for different vehicles, it could be the make or break difference. Alright, as you can see here, I got a 3rd place, so that puts me with 57 points. I'm not too mad about that. The blue shells in this game, they were nerfed. However, this vehicle is not made for, taking a beat. This vehicle was made for front running. It's made to have presence in points. And once it gets hit, that's kind of it. Alright, let's move on to the next vehicle. What might the next vehicle be? Be sure to grab your copy of Mario Kart Rebalanced version 5 today. Be sure to join the Discord server for technical supports and how to install, and have fun. Mario Kart Rebalanced version 5 available now.